This is the Anna Gale Lines podcast, where we equip you with the tools and insights to take charge of your life and thrive. And here is your host, life coach and author, Anna Gale Lines.
Hello, amazing viewers. I'm Anna Gale Lines, and for many years I was taking care of my mother. She believed she was a victim. She believed that everything that had happened to her up until this point had been everybody else's fault. And she took no responsibility for anything that ever happened to her. She had a chip on her shoulder, and she believed that you should do whatever she wanted. She was entitled. And she would manipulate you, control you, and verbally abuse you until you did what she wanted. She made you feel crazy. She was the ultimate gaslighter. And she would punish you if you didn't do what she wanted. She would punish you emotionally, mentally. She would withhold affection. And it got to the point where I was so dark in my thinking, so I was feeling so stuck that I believed I was never getting out of this situation. In reality, that's not the truth, because in life, everything passes at some point. This too shall pass. But the problem is that when we're in that thinking, it's an all or nothing mentality, and we can't see a way out. We feel stuck. We feel like we want to do more with our lives, but something is holding us back. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Whether it is professional or personal, we've all been there. And there is hope. In this episode, we are going to give you effective strategies to break free from the chains of stagnation and embrace a life filled with purpose, growth, and excitement. So let's get started. So why do people find themselves stuck? They find themselves stuck, first of all, because they have a lack of clarity. They don't know what they want to do with their lives. They don't have defined goals or aspirations. So they're just floundering around from one thing to another, and they're never lighting anywhere. They're never growing, being planted anywhere. They have a fear of failure. They won't come out of their comfort zone in order to try anything new. They have low self-esteem. They're doubting their abilities and their worth to do anything. They have procrastination. They don't think that they can do a very good job at whatever task they're wanting to take on, so they don't do it. They put it off. They talk negatively to themselves. We all do this. We talk negative to ourselves when we have failures and when we make mistakes. We put ourselves down and we are self-depreciating. But we have to turn that around into talking good to ourselves. We are worth it. We do have a purpose. We do have talents and gifts. And some people stay stuck because they have a lack of resilience. Instead of bouncing back from their setbacks, they stay there. They stay stuck in that situation. We have a lot of people who want to stay in their comfort zones, and they don't want to try anything new because they've been disappointed and discouraged in the past, so they don't want to try it again. They don't want to try it a different way. We have people who have external expectations from society or family to do things that they don't want to do. They have financial constraints, meaning that they have a lack of education, or they live in the projects, or they don't have enough money to pay their bills, and they're living paycheck to paycheck if they're living paycheck to paycheck. And they have a lack of support from the people around them. But there are ways to get unstuck. One of them is by reflecting on ourselves, taking a survey of what's going on in our lives. Are you happy? Are you happy with your relationships, happy with your marriage, happy with your relationship with your children, happy with your career, happy with the legacy that you are going to leave? Are you happy with what's going on in your life? I want you to imagine that you're 100 years old and you've lived your entire life the same way you're living it now. What would you have regretted? What is it that you would regret? Would you regret not starting that business? Would you regret not getting married? Would you regret not adopting children? What would you regret? Would you regret not traveling the world? You need to take a long, hard look at your life and decide what is important to you, what you want to do with your life, and what you would regret if you were on your deathbed. And then we need to define our values. What is most important to us? Is it honesty? Is it integrity? Is it consistency? Is it responsibility? What are the values that are most important to you? And then when we self-reflect, we need to come up with SMART goals. I know I always talk about goals, but we need to come up with specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals that are going to get us to that place where we want to be. So we want to take our lives and we want to change them. So those things that we would regret on our deathbed or when we're 100, we need to come up with goals in order to change those things so that we are not regretting those when we're 100 and when we're on our deathbed. And we need to create a vision board. So we need to create a board that has pictures and words of the life that we want to lead. And then we need to put it in a place where we can see it on a daily basis. So we need to put it like in our bedroom. We need to put a small version on our mirror in our bathroom. We need to put a small version on our phones. We need to put it on our dashboards, on our cars, maybe on our desk at work. But we need to be able to see that vision board, because what we see, we can achieve. But if we don't see it, it's not going to be foremost in our minds. Like when you're a race car driver and when you're in training, one of the things they tell you is if you look like you're going to crash, put your eyes in the direction that you want to go and the car will automatically go in that direction. That's the same with us. We need to focus our eyes on where we want to go, and then our lives will go in that direction. But the problem is that too many people don't even come up with goals. They don't even figure out what they want to do with their lives. They don't create a vision board. They don't break down their goals. So these big lofty goals that they have, like they want to build a business, they don't break those goals down. Like, let's research what kind of business we want to go into. Let's research what marketing techniques we have to go in to make a success of that business. What people do we need to surround us? What are the goals for that business? Do we want to help people? Do we want to just make money? What is the vision for that business? We need to break down our big goals into smaller goals, achievable goals, so that we can take one step at a time towards our goals. It's like how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you get to your big goals? One step at a time. You don't want to look at the whole entire goal. You want to look at those small, tiny, little steps, because all those steps are going to lead you to where you need to go. We need to create a daily routine that builds discipline and structure in our lives. So those goals that you have for your life, of how you're going to change your life around, what are the daily steps that you can take towards that? Do you want to learn guitar? Can you spend 10 minutes a day learning a new song? Can you take guitar lessons? Do you want to build your business? So can you watch videos that teach you how to build that business and make it a success? Do you want to learn Italian? Can you do a lesson a day of Italian? Do you want to write a book? Can you write 250 words on that book every day? And we also need to seek inspiration. We need to read books that are inspiring to us. Like every day I listen to an audiobook of something that is going to get me towards my goals. It's not books, that are off my goal list. They're not just random books that, my provider suggests to me. I'm always strategic in what I want to listen to. I want it to be something that's going to get me towards my goals or help me to grow personally. More times than not, it's something that has to do with, marketing or how to build a business or, podcasting or something like that. And then we also need to seek inspiration in watching TED Talks on things that relate to our goals. We need to find role models that inspire us and read their books, listen to their podcasts, listen to their TED Talks. We also need to start getting into groups of mastermind groups or seek out people who have done what we want to do and pick their brains, take them to coffee. A lot of people don't think that these big name influencers and celebrities would be open to that, but all you have to do is ask. You may get no, but you might get yes. But that's the power of asking. And we need to embrace change because change is a part of life and it leads to personal growth. But if we don't embrace change and get out of our comfort zones, we're never going to see what's on the other side of our fears, what's on the other side of that comfort zone. We are always going to be stuck and we are always going to be in the same place we were 20 years ago. Same place we were 10 years ago. But we have to embrace change because change is a constant in life. And we need to learn continually. We need to pursue education, not necessarily going to school. But, we can learn through podcasts. We can learn through books. We can learn through audiobooks. We can learn through video. Today, we have more than enough information at our fingertips. When I grew up, we had to go to the library. We had to look in the encyclopedia. We had a card catalog. But now today, you just Google something and you have all the information at your fingertips. Now, today, you've got to figure out whether or not that information is true or not. And you've got to go with multiple sources. But back in the day, we didn't have that advantage. We have that now. So we need to continually learn and absorb new information. We need to go to lectures and go to classes. We could go to parks and recreation classes on writing or art or music that don't even cost that much. We can find people who do what we do or want to do, and we can ask them to teach us. It's all about continually putting yourself out there and learning more. We also can network along the same lines of going to find people who are doing what you want to do. You can, like I said, go to classes, but you can also go to meetups where these people are, like mastermind classes or people who are YouTubers or people who are authors, and you can find out what they're doing. And they can learn from you and you can learn from them. When we network and we share our interests and our goals with other people, you never know what's going to happen. They might have an opportunity for you that you didn't even think of. They may have ideas of how you can do things that you never even thought of. And then we need to practice mindfulness to reduce stress and clarity, whether this means meditation for you or whether it means prayer. For me, it means prayer, but to each their own. We need to get into that mind space where we're being quiet and we're just letting ourselves be, because too many times we are doing instead of just being. We need to be quiet. We need to have quiet time where we're not thinking about anything, we're just being. And I find that in those quiet times, new ideas come to me, or ideas of how to fix things that I was struggling with come to me. And then we need to get organized. We need to declutter our physical and digital spaces to improve our focus. Now, I am not an extremely organized person, but there are times when I just have to declutter everything. I have to clean everything. And it's kind of a nurturing thing. Or I can't stand the clutter anymore. My grandmother was a hoarder, and she had junk from the floor to the ceiling in 3 rooms and 1 family room. And whenever I see my space getting like that, I have to clean it. I have to declutter it because I can't focus. And I find that when I have clutter, that's when I find that I'm more depressed and I don't have as many ideas and I start getting stuck. One of the places I will get stuck in is my novels. So I will have written the beginning, I'll get to like 30,000, 40,000 words, and I will get stuck in the middle. So I then have to take a step back, be quiet, and think about what I'm going to do with these characters and how I'm going to get them out of the situation they're in. But when I'm not organized, when I have clutter, that becomes more difficult for me. It's something about my physical environment being reflected in my mental environment. And then we need to manage our time better. We need to come up with effective ways to manage our time. So, like, instead of having to find my keys every morning, they're on a hook near the door. So I grab them as I go out. My badge is on there for my work. Then I'm able to find them. I don't have to go looking for them. And then I have a certain routine I do every morning. I go and I go through the scriptures that I'm going to read every morning. I listen to this podcast every morning. I do my Italian lesson. I go to the refrigerator and get my energy drink and the fruit that I'm going to take to work. I put it in my backpack that I take to work. I have this routine every morning. And then we also need to, find ways to value our time. Whether that means not going to the grocery store and having the food delivered, whether that means, doing things online and having Amazon bring them to your door. We need to find ways to value our time. And then we need to take care of our health. So we need to eat a balanced diet. We need to get enough rest. We need to make sure that we're getting in enough steps every day. We need to make sure that we are taking care of our mental health and our physical health by going to see the doctors and going to, our physicals. And then we need to volunteer, because we can get a sense of purpose and fulfillment by volunteering, by helping people who are less fortunate than us, people who need food or shelter. We could go help at the soup kitchen. We can go read to the blind. We could go help out in a a rest home. Volunteer to usher at the theater. You can volunteer to be a guide at the museum. There are so many things that you can do to volunteer your time and meet new people. And you can also try new hobbies, new passions, go to new classes. Did you want to, take up sculpting or a stained glass class? You can go and try those at your local community center. You can figure out what you want to do with your life by trying new things, new hobbies. And we have to challenge our fears, because if we don't challenge ourselves to do new things and get out of our comfort zone, we are never going to learn what our purpose is and what we were put on this earth to do. We are never going to help people unless we get out of our comfort zone. And then we need to journal. Because when we put pen to paper about what we are thinking, we start to get new ideas. And we start to gain focus and clarity on where our lives need to go. And like I said last week, we need to practice gratitude. Because when we focus on the positive in our lives, it's going to attract more positive. But if we focus on the negative in our lives, we're going to get more negative. So what do you want? Do you want more positive in your life, or do you want more negative in your life? If you sow positivity, you're going to reap positivity. If you sow gratitude, you're going to get more good things in return. And we need to forgive ourselves, because that's a big one. Many times the reason we are stuck is because we keep focusing on all of our mistakes. We keep focusing on what happened to us in the past, and we haven't forgiven ourselves for what has happened in our lives. We haven't forgiven ourselves for those mistakes we made. We haven't forgiven ourselves for the way we treated that person. But we have to step back and think to ourselves, I did the best I could at the time. I need to forgive myself and move forward. Because the only way we are going to move forward in life is to forgive ourselves and to forgive others. Because forgiving others doesn't have to do with them. It has to do with you. Because you're keeping yourself stuck if you're not forgiving people for what they've done to you. I don't care if they did it maliciously. I don't care if they did it accidentally. You need to forgive them. That is a choice you need to make. You need to forgive yourself and you need to forgive them. Those are the choices you need to make. And we need to celebrate the small wins. Too many times we're looking and we're waiting to celebrate when we get that promotion, when we get that book deal, when we are part of a rock band, or we have started that business. But we need to celebrate the wins along the way. You filed paperwork under your business name. That's a win. Put your application in for that promotion. That's a win. You went outside and you spoke to somebody new. That's a win. We need to celebrate the small victories in life, because if we don't, our lives are going to get stuck. We're not going to be able to move forward. We're not going to think that we're making any progress. It's part of momentum. We have to, do the small steps in order to get to the big things. It's those small steps. If we celebrate those small steps, then we're going to be more likely to take the bigger steps that are going to get us to our goals. And that's a wrap on today's episode. I hope you found this exploration into getting stuck in life both inspiring and actionable. Remember, you have the power within you to break free from any obstacle that holds you back. It's all about taking those small steps, embracing change, and staying persistent on your journey towards personal growth and fulfillment. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the like button as well. Share it with friends who you think might need a little motivation. Until next time, remember, you've got this. Keep pushing forward and never stop striving for your best life. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode. And thank you for being you.
You have been listening to the Anna Gale Lines podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Anna Gale, you can go to annagalelines.com. It's ANNAGAILLYNES.com. And there you can download 2 free chapters of her book Unshakable Purpose. And you can also download her latest science fiction mystery novel called The Last Chance Station for free. You can also buy her fiction and nonfiction books on the website, Amazon, BN.com, Lulu, and many other online outlets. Sign up for the newsletter to keep updated as to what's going on in the world of the Anna Gale Lines podcast and Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast, her fiction podcast where you can hear installments of her novels. To follow her on social media, Lady Anna Gale on TikTok, Anna Gale Lines on Twitter, and Anna Gale Lines Artist on Instagram. Join our Facebook page at facebook.com/author Anna Gale. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being you.